Have you ever felt like there is something different about you? As if your presence in this world was not a mere chance, but part of a greater plan? Perhaps you have noticed that certain situations seem to repeat themselves in your life, as if fate is trying to tell you something. What if I told you that this feeling is not just an impression, but a confirmation that you have been set apart for something far beyond the ordinary? Since ancient times, stories of special individuals called chosen ones permeate religions, mythologies, and sacred texts. These people seem to carry a different light, a knowledge that separates them from others. However, throughout history, they have also faced immense challenges, persecution, and attempts at silencing. This raises a crucial question. Why were the chosen always targets? The answer is simple and at the same time profound. The knowledge and awareness they carry pose a threat to those who live in ignorance. If you found this content, know that it wasn't by chance. You may have arrived here out of curiosity, but the truth is that your soul recognizes this calling. You are not like the others. There is something about you that makes you different, and that difference is not a mistake. It's a sign. But there is an essential question. How do you protect your mission and your spirit in a world that often struggles to silence those who carry the truth? In this guide, we will explore 10 essential secrets which every chosen one must keep. These secrets will help you preserve your energy, protect yourself against negative influences, and keep your light intact in the face of challenges. The journey may be arduous, but those who understand these truths become steadfast. The chosen in history, a repeating pattern. If we go back in time, we will realize that many of the great spiritual leaders, visionaries, and revolutionaries faced persecution. Jesus was betrayed and crucified. Buddha faced years of trials before achieving enlightenment. Socrates was sentenced to death for challenging common thinking. What do these names have in common? They possessed knowledge that could transform the world, but that also threatened those in power. The chosen have always been targets because they carry within themselves something that can change the reality around them. They are often born questioners, people who do not accept the ready-made answers given to them. And the world, in general, doesn't like uncomfortable questions. This brings us to a crucial point. Silence and protection are weapons of the chosen. Knowing when to speak and when to keep a revelation to yourself is essential. Many were persecuted because they trusted their truths to the wrong ears, and that's just one of the secrets we'll explore. The danger of exposing your mission prematurely. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. At first it is fragile, vulnerable to storms and pests. If it is exposed too soon, it will not have the strength to resist and could be destroyed before it even blooms. Your spiritual mission works the same way. Sharing deep truths with the wrong people can destroy your purpose before it even matures. Psychology shows us that the more we talk about our plans, the less motivation we have to carry them out. The brain interprets verbalization as a form of action, and this reduces the need to actually put the plan into practice. Plus, the energy you put into explaining your journey to those who aren't ready to understand it could be wasted. Many do not listen to understand, but rather to question, doubt, and even discredit their journey. Therefore, one of the first secrets we will cover is the importance of discernment. Chosen ones don't speak to everyone. Chosen they save, protect, and share only when the time is right. What you will discover here. In this guide, you will learn how to protect your energy and prevent it from being drained by negative influences. Recognize spiritual and emotional attacks before they affect your mission. Master your emotions so that they work for you, not against you. Use silence and discretion as powerful shields on your journey. Identify who really deserves your trust and avoid betrayal. Each secret revealed here is drawn from patterns that repeat among the chosen throughout history. They are more than concepts. They are protective tools for those who understand the depth of their mission. The choice is in your hands. Now, you have a path in front of you. You can ignore this message and carry on as if nothing had happened, or you can continue and delve into the knowledge that can strengthen your journey. Chosen ones do not run away from the call. They learn, grow, and become the light the world needs. If you feel there is more to discover, continue. The first secret could be the key to the transformation you've been waiting for a long time. Are you ready? Share this knowledge with the world. How many people do you know are still stuck in this cycle and have no idea? Together, we can spread this message and help more people become free. Subscribe to the channel and send this video to anyone who needs to hear this truth. 1. The spiritual call and destiny, the mission of the chosen. What does it mean to be a chosen one? Since the dawn of humanity, some people have been marked by a sense of purpose that goes beyond ordinary life. These people carry within themselves a special mission, a calling that not everyone can understand. But what does it really mean to be a chosen one? How do you know if you are part of this select group? History shows us that the chosen have always played fundamental roles in the course of human events, whether in religion, science, philosophy, or in the leadership of people. Those who felt this call were responsible for great transformations. However, this path is not easy. It is full of challenges, trials, and often misunderstanding. Chosen through history, patterns that repeat. Over time, various civilizations have recorded the existence of individuals who seem to be ahead of their time. Let's look at some examples. Moses, 13th century BC, chosen to free the Hebrews from slavery in Egypt. He received a direct call through the burning bush, as recorded in the book of Exodus. Despite his sacred mission, he faced constant doubts, resistance, and challenges from his own people. Buddha, 563 BC, 483 BC, prince who renounced his life of luxury to seek understanding about human suffering. His spiritual awakening gave rise to Buddhism, impacting millions of lives. Jesus Christ, circa 4 BC, 30 AD, considered the greatest example of the chosen one. He dedicated his life to teaching love, compassion, and redemption. Persecuted and crucified, he left a legacy that shaped Western civilization. Joanna d'Arc, 1412-1431, the young French peasant woman who claimed to hear divine voices and led armies in the 100 Years' War. Her calling led her to victory, but also to the stake, where she was burned as a heretic. Nikola Tesla, 1856-1943, electrical genius and visionary, his inventions revolutionized science. However, he died forgotten, as his knowledge represented a threat to the interests of the time. What do all these individuals have in common? They had a calling, and this call came accompanied by challenges and opposition. 2. The chosen and destiny. Do you really have free will? One of the biggest questions raised by those who feel a calling is, if I was chosen for something greater, do I still have a choice? Or is my fate already sealed? The answer is complex. The calling is like an open door. No one will be forced to cross it, but those who do will discover that there was never any other option. Many try to escape this fate. Jonah, for example, tried to escape the mission given to him, but was swallowed by a large fish and brought back to his path. Others try to ignore the signs, only to find that life leads them back to the same point. What sets the chosen apart is that even when they try to walk away, something always drives them to continue. The challenges they face are not coincidences. They are tests, refining their character and strengthening their resolve. 3. The spiritual call in science and psychology. Although the concept of a spiritual calling is often associated with religion, modern psychology also recognizes this phenomenon. Psychologist Carl Jung explored the concept of individuation. a process by which a person discovers and fulfills their true self, which can be interpreted as a spiritual journey. Studies show that individuals who feel a sense of purpose have greater emotional resilience and are less prone to depression. Harvard University published a study in 2019 showing that people with a deep sense of purpose have a longer life expectancy and greater satisfaction. This means that those who embrace their spiritual calling not only impact the world around them, but also experience a higher level of personal well-being. Are you ready for your calling? If you feel like you have a greater purpose, don't ignore that feeling. The world needs people who wake up, question, and bring change. History shows that the chosen never have an easy path, but it also teaches us that it is those who dare to follow their mission who leave a lasting legacy. In the next chapters, we'll explore essential practices to protect your journey, avoid pitfalls, and recognize the signs that you're on the right path. Your calling is real. The question is, are you ready to accept it? Your journey is just beginning. It's time to regain your strength and build a new path. Subscribe to the channel and be part of this community that is awakening to the truth. 4. Discernment and protection. Guarding what is sacred, the knowledge. Not everyone should have, not every truth should be shared. This is a fundamental rule for the chosen. Those who carry a spiritual mission know that not everyone around them is ready to understand certain revelations. There is knowledge that must be protected not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Throughout history, individuals who have brought powerful truths to the world have been persecuted, ridiculed, or even eliminated. The reason? The knowledge they possessed was a threat to established systems. A striking example is Galileo Galilei, 1564-1642, the scientist who challenged the idea that the Earth was the center of the universe. By claiming that the Sun was the center of the solar system, he came into direct confrontation with the Church and was forced to publicly deny his findings to avoid harsher punishment. Although his knowledge was correct, society at the time was not ready to accept it. History shows that the more advanced knowledge is, the greater the resistance it encounters. Therefore, wisdom lies in knowing when to speak and when to silence. 5. The danger of sharing with the wrong people. The chosen often make the mistake of trusting too much. They believe that those around them will understand their path and support them. However, this is far from the truth. Betrayal has always been present in the history of great visionaries. One of the best-known examples is that of Jesus Christ and Judas Iscariot. Judas was not a stranger. He was part of Jesus' closest circle. However, for 30 pieces of silver, he handed over the one he was supposed to protect. This episode teaches that the real threat often comes not from outside, but from within. Research into human behavior shows that highly intuitive people sense when someone around them doesn't have good intentions. However, many ignore this intuition because they rely on emotional bonds. A study published by American Psychological Association in 2018 indicated that 80% of people who have been cheated on reported ignoring warning signs before the betrayal happened. This means that discernment is not just recognizing danger, but act on it. Spiritual discernment, protecting yourself from unseen attacks. Not all threats can be seen with the naked eye. The chosen know that there is a battle that goes beyond what is physical. Energetic and spiritual attacks are real and can affect the lives of those who are not prepared. Some common signs of spiritual attacks include extreme and inexplicable tiredness, sudden changes in mood for no apparent reason, feeling of weight on the shoulders or in the environment, negative thoughts that seem to come out of nowhere. In different cultures, there are spiritual protection practices. In ancient Egypt, priests used amulets to ward off negative energies. In indigenous culture, The use of herbs such as white sage served to purify spaces and people. In Christianity, prayer and fasting are ways of strengthening the spirit against harmful influences. The secret is not just recognizing these attacks, but knowing how to protect yourself from them. Protection and discernment techniques. Now that we know the risks, how can a chosen protect themselves? Select who you share personal information with. Be judicious about what you tell and who you tell. If even Galileo had to hide his truths, why should you reveal everything to everyone? Strengthen your energy daily. Practices such as prayer, meditation, and visualization are essential to maintain your spiritual protection. Listen to your intuition. Your spirit will always give signals when something is wrong. Science has already proven that our brain processes information before we are even aware of it. If you feel like something is wrong, it probably is. Avoid busy environments. Places with a history of conflicts, envy, or dense energies can weaken your vibration. If possible, move away. Practice strategic silence. Not everything needs to be said. Choose your words wisely and don't give ammunition to those who might use them against you. The art of keeping what is precious. Many underestimate the importance of discernment until they become victims of their own naivety. Imagine that you have in your hands a rare, priceless jewel. Would you show it to anyone? Or would you store it safely, protecting it from those who would steal or destroy it? Your knowledge and spiritual energy are like this jewel, and like all valuable treasures, they must be preserved wisely. The world is full of people who will not understand your journey and who will try to divert you from it. Your responsibility is to ensure that your path remains protected. In the next chapters, we will explore more essential secrets so that you can pursue your mission without being hindered by external forces. The truth can liberate, but it can also attract those who wish to silence it. Protect yourself. The awakening continues. If this video opened your eyes to truths you had never seen before, imagine what else you can discover. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that can transform your life. 6. Self-knowledge and emotional control, the pillar of the spiritual journey. Understanding your emotions, the key to spiritual evolution. Those who have a spiritual calling face constant challenges. But one of the biggest obstacles does not come from outside, but from within, one's own emotions. Emotional control does not mean ignoring how you feel, but rather know how to use emotions to your advantage without allowing them to get in the way of your mission. Many of history's greatest visionaries failed, not because they lacked knowledge, but because they let their emotions get the best of them. Anger made them impulsive. Fear paralyzed them. Vanity blinded them. The true chosen one is not the one who feels less, but rather the one who has learned to transform their emotions into strength. Emotion as a weapon. When feelings become weakness. History is full of examples of great leaders and spiritual figures who faced emotional dilemmas. Moses, when he was angry with his people, he broke the tablets of the 10 Commandments, Exodus 32:19. As a result, he had to climb Mount Sinai again to receive new instructions. His anger cost him time and effort. Alexander the Great, known for his strategic dominance, lost one of his best generals in a moment of lack of control. In a fit of rage, he killed Cleto the Black, his friend and advisor. The weight of regret accompanied him for the rest of his life. Napoleon Bonaparte, despite his military genius, was consumed by pride and haste, leading him to the disastrous campaign in Russia in 1812, where he lost more than 400,000 soldiers. These examples show a clear pattern. Lack of emotional control leads to ruin, regardless of an individual's talent or knowledge. Now ask yourself, how many wrong decisions have you made in the heat of emotion? How many opportunities were lost because fear or insecurity took over? Emotional mastery is not an optional skill for the chosen. It is a fundamental requirement to fulfill your mission. What happens to the body when you lose control? Science proves that intense emotions alter our physical and mental state. When we feel anger, fear, or anxiety, the body releases cortisol and adrenaline, preparing to fight or flee. Although this reaction is useful in situations of real danger, it becomes harmful when it happens frequently or unnecessarily. Studies conducted by Harvard Medical School show that high levels of stress can impair memory, decision-making capacity, and even weaken the immune system. i.e., the more you lose emotional control, the more vulnerable you become, physically and spiritually. Therefore, mastering your emotions is not just a matter of well-being, but of protection and survival. Techniques for mastering your emotions. Now that we understand the risks of lack of emotional control, it is essential to learn strategies to strengthen it. Here are practical methods used by spiritual leaders and scholars of human behavior to achieve emotional balance. Conscious breathing. Before reacting to any situation, take a deep breath and count to 5. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, reducing the effects of stress and allowing for a more rational response. Change of focus. Whenever a negative emotion arises, ask yourself, does this really matter in the long run? Studies show that changing perspective drastically reduces the emotional impact. Mental training. Practicing daily self-observation can strengthen your emotional intelligence. Keeping a journal or reflecting on your feelings at the end of the day helps you understand patterns and predict reactions. Strategic distancing. In moments of high emotional charge, temporarily remove yourself from the situation. Great spiritual masters, such as Jesus and Buddha, often retreated to isolated places before making important decisions. Energy channeling. Repressed emotions can become destructive. Turn your emotional energy into productive action, such as physical exercise, creative activities, or community service. The difference between someone ordinary and a chosen is the ability to respond, not react. When you control your emotions, no one else can control you. The dangers of emotional manipulation. Emotionally unstable people are easy prey for manipulators. Governments, religions, and corporations have used fear as a tool to control masses for centuries. If you don't know how to control your emotions, someone else will do it for you. A clear example of this is political propaganda throughout history. Dictators and totalitarian leaders have always used fear to manipulate people. Hitler, in the 1930s, used the insecurity of post-war Germany to foment hatred and control millions. The same happens in personal relationships. Toxic people often exploit your emotional weaknesses to gain an advantage. If you are afraid of loneliness, you will be manipulated by those who know how to play on that fear. If you seek constant validation, you will be targeted by people who offer approval just to control you. The secret to escaping these traps is be emotionally independent. When you don't need external approval and you master your own emotions, no one can use them against you. Fear tried to extinguish you, but now you know that your light is unbreakable. To continue strengthening yourself and never fall into traps like this again, click the subscribe button and activate the bell. Your liberation has begun. 7. Transforming emotions into strength. Being chosen does not mean being immune to negative feelings. The difference is in what you do with them. Anger can be used as fuel to drive change. Fear can become caution and strategic planning. Sadness can lead to deep reflection and inner growth. Great leaders have learned to channel their emotions instead of being consumed by them. Mandela spent 27 years in prison without allowing hatred to destroy him. Gandhi resisted oppression without becoming a bitter man. These examples show that self-control is true power. Conclusion: whoever controls his emotions controls his destiny. The key to accomplishing your mission is not in the knowledge you possess, but in your ability to remain calm, even under pressure. Your mind should be your fortress, not your bondage. The world will try to provoke reactions, test your patience, and destabilize you. But remember, the person who dominates his emotions cannot be controlled by anyone. In the next chapters, we will explore more secrets on how to keep your energy protected and how to avoid external influences that can divert you from your mission. Are you ready to take the next step? 8. Silence and discretion, the power of moving in secret. True power does not need to be advertised. In today's world, where everything is shared, exposed, and analyzed, those who know how to remain silent become a rarity. But for those with a greater purpose, discretion is not just a choice, it is a necessity. The chosen one who understands the value of silence protects his path and prevents external interference from compromising his mission. History shows us that those who made the biggest impacts were not necessarily those who spoke the most, but rather those who knew how to act at the right time. Napoleon Bonaparte said, "Never interrupt your enemy while he is making a mistake." This reflects a profound truth. The information you keep to yourself can be your greatest advantage. However, we live in times where silence is misunderstood. Many associate discretion with weakness, fear, or a lack of opinion. But the reality is opposite. Those who move without fuss, without exposing each step, have control of their own narrative and prevent others from using their words against them. Those who talk too much and paid the price. History is full of examples of people who lost everything because they didn't know how to keep their intentions. Himself, Julius Caesar, 100 BC, 44 BC, one of ancient Rome's greatest strategists, ignored signs of conspiracy around him and trusted too much in those close to him. His assassination was planned by those who knew his weaknesses and knew exactly when to attack him. If he had been more discreet, he could have prevented his death. Another classic case is that of Nikola Tesla, 1856-1943, visionary electrical genius. Tesla spoke openly about his revolutionary inventions and ideas, not realizing that many around him were ready to explore them. Thomas Edison, his greatest rival, used this transparency against him, discrediting his work and taking credit for many of his innovations. Tesla died poor and forgotten, while others became rich from his discoveries. These examples prove that talking too much can be costly. Keeping plans to yourself, sharing only what is necessary, and acting strategically can be the difference between success and failure. Silence as a shield against invisible enemies. Many spiritual and energetic battles begin with information you provide without realizing it. In several spiritual traditions, there is the concept that words carry energy and that everything said becomes a potential reality. If you share your plans ahead of time, you leave room for interference. Not everyone who hears your ideas will root for you. Envy, competition, and even unconscious negativity can create obstacles that would not exist if you had kept silent. Ancestral cultures understood this deeply. In feudal Japan, samurai practiced a suck, a state of silent meditation before battle. In ancient Egypt, secrets were only passed on to prepared disciples, as it was believed that knowledge shared with the wrong people became a weapon against the bearer himself. The modern world has lost this wisdom. Today, people announce every step, share projects before carrying them out, and expose vulnerabilities to those who shouldn't know about them. The result? Premature failures, unexpected blocks and betrayals that could have been avoided. When to speak and when to be silent. Being discreet does not mean never speaking. The secret is in knowing what to say, when to say it, and who to say it to. Avoid talking about your plans before they are realized. The more you share, the more vulnerable you become. Don't explain your actions to those who don't need to know. Many question your decisions not out of genuine interest, but to find ways to destabilize you. Learn to observe more than talk. The less you expose your intentions, the more control you have over the situation. Use silence as a response. Sometimes the best way to overcome a provocation or attack is to not react. Silence disarms. Discreet people inspire respect and curiosity. They never reveal everything, leaving others always uncertain about their next steps. The danger of becoming an open book. Imagine you are playing chess and you reveal your next move to your opponent. Does this make sense? Of course. However, many people do exactly that in real life. They share plans, fears, and strategies ahead of time. Anyone who reveals too much loses the power to surprise. People who maintain an air of mystery generate respect and admiration. Psychologists call this effect of unpredictability, a principle that says that what cannot be fully deciphered has the greatest impact. Whether in a professional environment, in relationships, or in your spiritual life, the less predictable you are, the more difficult it will be for others to manipulate you. The answer you were looking for is here. If this video made sense to you, don't stop here. There is so much more to learn and grow. Click sign up now and discover the next step towards your transformation. 9. Silence and discretion as tools of power. In addition to protection, silence and discretion can be used as influence strategies. Leaders, negotiators, and spiritual teachers understand the value of talking less and acting more. The phrase, "power resides in those who know how to wait and act at the right time," reflects this idea well. Chosen don't waste energy trying to prove themselves. They let their results speak for themselves. Who talks less, achieves more. Silence is a powerful tool. It protects, confuses enemies, strengthens your energy, and ensures you maintain control of your own narrative. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, those who know how to shut up become the true masters of the game. Think about it. How many opportunities did you miss because you spoke prematurely? How many challenges have arisen because someone knew too much about your plans? In the next chapters, we will explore more secrets to keeping your energy and your path protected. If you want to go far, learn to move without being seen. The path of the chosen and the last key. What separates the chosen from the rest of the world? If you've made it this far, you've already understood something fundamental. Not everyone can see the truth. The path of the chosen one is not easy, but it is necessary. There is no glory without endurance, there is no growth without challenges, and there is no enlightenment without sacrifice. What differentiates those who accomplish their mission from those who fail is simple: the ability to keep your mind sharp, your energy protected, and your spirit strengthened. Many begin the journey, but few reach the end. What makes the difference? Discipline, silence, and discernment. While most seek external validation, the chosen know that true strength comes from within. While others talk too much and waste their energy, those who understand the importance of discretion maintain their advantage. While many allow their emotions to rule them, the chosen learn to use them as fuel to move forward. The world is not ready for those who carry true light. This light disturbs, challenges, and threatens ancient structures. But that's exactly why you can't allow yourself to be erased. 10. The mistakes that can destroy your mission. History is full of chosen who failed because they ignored basic principles of protection. It's not enough to have a purpose. You need to know how to defend it. If there's anything that can lead you to ruin, it's these 3 mistakes: underestimating opposing forces. The chosen one who believes he has no enemies has already lost the first battle. Envy, resistance, and testing are part of the journey. Protection begins when you understand that not everyone wants your success. Trusting those who don't deserve it, Judas was not a stranger. Brutus was close to Caesar. Often, betrayal comes from where you least expect it. Choose who to trust wisely. Talking ahead of time, how many plans were destroyed because they were exposed prematurely? How many attacks could have been avoided if silence had been maintained? The true chosen one does not reveal his steps before the right time. Fate does not favor the reckless. Every mistake has a cost, and only those who learn the lesson move forward. The importance of persistence. No chosen passes through this world without being tested. What separates those who reach their destination from those who give up along the way is persistence. Great names in history faced extreme difficulties before fulfilling their mission. Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison before becoming president and changing the destiny of his nation. Thomas Edison, he failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the electric light bulb. Martin Luther King Jr., he faced persecution and threats until he was murdered for fighting for justice. What did they all have in common? None of them gave up. The chosen know that there are no shortcuts to fulfilling a true purpose. If it were easy, anyone could do it. But not just anyone, and you. The last advice: be your own fortress. At the end of it all, there is only one person who can stop you from achieving your mission: yourself. You can allow fear to paralyze your steps. You can give your information to those who don't deserve it. You can let emotions overwhelm you. You may give up before seeing the result, or you can choose to be unwavering. Be your own fortress. Protect your energy. Cultivate your discernment. Trust silence as your ally. And remember, the chosen are not those who begin the journey, but those who reach the end. The world doesn't need any more empty voices. It needs actions. Now, the choice is yours. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that can transform your life.